Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Welcome, everybody, to Hot Soup Fantasy Football. It's going down. My favorite segment of the week is I Told You So. I told you so, man. We're going to go over our top 5 starts and our top 5 sits last week and see how I fared off as far as did they have a good game or did they have a bad game? Boy, did I strike gold in week 4. Last week you came to me. I said, these are the 5 people you want to sit. Number 1 was Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson was going against Philly's number 1 ranked defense. Brian Robinson ended up having a decent day. This was the most decent day of any of the top 5 that I had to sit last week. And he salvaged it with a touchdown. If Brian Robinson did not score a touchdown, Brian Robinson ended up with 14 carries for 45 yards, and that was it. So yeah, man, Brian Robinson wasn't going to have a big game. Number 2, Ramondre Stevenson. I said to sit last week. If y'all came and checked me out, I'm going to have the top 5 sits and top 5 starts for this week later on in the week. You got to come check me out, like and subscribe on YouTube. I said sit him. Why did I say sit him? He's going up against Dallas, number 2 ranked defense against the run. Ramondre Stevenson got you 14 carries for 30 yards. He had a couple catches, not much yardage with it, man. Ended up with 6 points total. I try to tell y'all, man, I told you so. Number 3 sit, and it was a big sit. It was a big one. Every now and then I pull one like, there's no way you should sit this guy. No way you should sit this guy. Tua Tagovailoa. I said it. I said, man, Tua's going to have a bad week this week. The 2 defenses he blew up on were ranked 31st and 32nd in the league against the quarterback. The team he had 15 points on in week 2 was New England's defense that was ranked number 5 against the quarterback. Well, guess who he was going against this week? Buffalo, ranked number 1 against the quarterback. No way I'm starting Tua against that, man. And what happened? Tua ends up as the number 18th scoring quarterback. Still got 2 games tonight. Could end up 20th overall in fantasy scoring. That's right, man. There were guys out there like Sam Howell, Jordan Love, Zach Wilson, Josh Dobbs, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield had way better games than Tua this week. That's right, man. I try to tell y'all, I told you so. Number 4, CeeDee Lamb. What I say? I said, Bill Belichick always finds a way to shut down your top guy, whether it be Pollard or it be CeeDee Lamb. I didn't want to take a chance with either. I started Pollard just for the fact I know the volume's there and he can have a high floor, but CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott right now already not looking good. And then him going against Belichick, CeeDee Lamb ends up throwing up 4 receptions for 36 yards. He salvaged his game with a touchdown, ended up with 14 fantasy points off of 6 targets. So 4 catches, 36 yards. Without that touchdown, he got shut down. Next up, Miles Sanders. Ooh, I'm talking about your boy went 5 for 5 this week. Miles Sanders was going against Minnesota, ranked 10th against the run, and Minnesota had only gave up 109 yards in the previous 2 games. Miles Sanders puts up 13 carries for 19 yards. It's like 1.5 yards per carry, y'all. Went absolutely nowhere. Had 3 receptions for 13 yards, put up 6 points. Oh my God. Those Miles Sanders people who started him, hey, I told you so. Man, so those are your I told you so for our sits last week. For our starts last week, my number 1 on the board was Justin Herbert, man. Justin Herbert's averaging 313 yards per game, averaging 2 touchdowns through the air, averaging. So I know he's going to have a decent floor, a high floor. And so it happened. 3 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground. So those of you in leagues where passing touchdowns, only 4 points. The man had 12 points in touchdowns from running, and then another 4 points. He went off for about 235 yards, I believe. So he didn't quite hit that 300-yard mark. But yeah, man, our boy, 3 touchdowns total. Justin Herbert, he's locked and loaded. He did fracture his finger in the game, but it is his non-throwing hand. So you guys feel comfortable about Justin Herbert. He will not miss any time at all. He played through the game with that broken finger. Number 2 on my board was Amari Cooper. I did not miss on Amari. At the time that I came out with that start, Deshaun Watson was starting quarterback. We found out Sunday Deshaun won't play, so we can scratch that Amari Cooper. I would have told y'all to scratch it. As soon as you seen Watson not playing, I took Amari out in every single league that I had and started another player, man, somebody who can give me some points. And I was right. Amari Cooper only went off for 1 reception this week. Adam Thielen. I told y'all, man, Adam Thielen's continuing to get targets. Adam Thielen went off for 7 receptions and 76 yards, 8 targets, had 15.2 fantasy points, and that's with the rookie back in the game at quarterback, Chase Young. So Adam Thielen is in my opinion, is a solid wide receiver 3 in flex positions week in and week out. It's not going to change. He's the best receiver over there right now and the best option. Number 4 would be James Cook. Told y'all to start James Cook. He's been getting a lot of work, man. A lot of work. They are starting to feed him the rock. He had 77 yards total and a touchdown. Ended up with 14.7 points in fantasy scoring. So not a boom game. But not a bust game. He would have got you 15 fantasy points. You can't ask for a higher floor than James Cook. And in our last that I said to start is the only one that I got wrong this week was Zach Moss. And I'm not even going to say it's Zach Moss because the volume was there. The first half, the way the game script went, he only had a couple carries. 0 points in the first half, came back in the second half and ended up with 70 yards off of 18 carries. So the volume is there. Had a couple receptions as well. So Zach Moss, not the best start that I can say I told you so, but he did have a decent floor, and then the work is there. Now, moving forward, they just activated Jonathan Taylor off the PUP list. So if Jonathan Taylor does come back to practice and he does play, Zach Moss is nothing more than a twinkle in the sky, man. After that, man, you can put him on your bench or just put him on the waiver wire. Jonathan Taylor will be getting all the work. We know what it is. Don't be stupid. That's your I Told You So episode for week 4. Once again, 9 out of 10 were correct. Only got 1 wrong. That was the Zach Moss, and you can't really even call that wrong. Still got us a solid, I believe, 9 points. If you have any questions, you can always hit me on YouTube. I'm going to be chiming in more daily just to check out my messages, man. Give you guys information if you have questions. That's what I'm here for. It's your boy Hot Soup, and I'm out.